Alright everybody, so here we go. Dignitas NaNiWa against Fnatic MSI. KawaiiRice in the bottom left hand corner we do have NaNiWa. The top right hand corner we have as the yellow Terran. Fnatic MSI's KawaiiRice. This is going to be a Terran versus Protoss on Crossfire SE.
Yeah, I know. We've been singing the praises of NaNiWa on the pregame show, just talking about what a beast this guy is. He's absolutely monstering the whole Foreigner scene, taking down MLG Dallas, going 26-2, and really only losing the 2 games in the grand final, which is worth noting, because if you're going to lose any games, I guess it's to the guy who ends up taking second place. That's pretty darn good. And he's still qualified for the TSL. He just got done defeating Goody, I believe, and is now in the quarterfinals. So NaNiWa's all over the place, doing really well. Now, we talked about KawaiiRice kind of saying, okay, KawaiiRice has his hands full for sure, but if there's anyone who takes this game so serious, it will be KawaiiRice, and I feel like he can prepare fairly well.
Yeah, do keep in mind, he's been practicing with TT1, and that guy is no slum himself.
Yeah.
He's quite a strong Protoss. To have that practice partner is quite good, but, I mean, NaNiWa probably has some of the best Terran practice partners in the world. Show and Select, part of Dignitas, and I do believe he is a player that, you know, exclusively plays with his team. He does, I don't know if he ladders too much, but he does play with his team quite a bit.
Yeah, and every time I see him play, it's astounding how well prepared he is. I never get the vibe of like, oh, he's totally impromptu playing right now, or like, this is so unpracticed. He's absolutely refined. And I think that's worth mentioning because I actually watch a lot of his play. Whenever someone does really well, I watch them because obviously I want that for myself, so I want to see what they're doing. And it's interesting because I'm not floored by any one choice he makes. It's just that his overall gameplay is at such a high level that it all kind of equalizes to this fantastic mold. He's not a... You can't look at him and say, oh, well, it's his macro. He's an amazing macro player. It's not his micro. It's actually everything. He's just pretty good at all
He's just sound all around theoretically. I couldn't reiterate that enough. All around, I love his play. And we can see that NaNiWa gets in here, doesn't see if there's a refinery. So
gas.
It could be.
I'm so dumb, sorry. Or gas. Yeah, okay.
So it could be a fast expansion coming out from, could be, you know, fast factory, could be even, well, now we saw two Marines, but it could be a lot of different variations of this Terran player. So he might be looking to play a little defensive. That's what we see, a very fast second gateway up for him.
Yeah, and I mean, conversely, KawaiiRice is getting fantastic information. When you see that second gateway but only one gas, there's really only a couple things that could be. Yes, it could be like a crazy 4-gate, but most likely it's a 2 or 3-gate expand, and you know not to anticipate a lot of sentries as well. So it does shorten the range of builds you're going to face. Now, of course, it's not like it's a direct answer. It's not like you saw the 4 gateways, 1 gas, like, oh my god, it's obviously 4-gate. But it's still a good start. Now, we were singing the praises of NaNiWa, saying how good he is. Let's talk about what kind of things KawaiiRice can do to get back into this. We see him mining off a double gas. He does have the 1-1-1 down, but I feel like this could be a Cloaked Banshee, maybe a weird Siege Tank timing, although I think that's like far and away the least likely.
Yeah.
And then possibly like Blue Flame Hellion drop.
Yeah, and also don't forget a Raven build. He could be playing just standard, doing that sort of Jinro build that we've seen at MLG Dallas Finals of 2010. So there's a lot of options. Still not sure yet what he's going to be doing, but we can see a Hellion coming out, so it looks like your Blue Flame Hellion was correct. No medevac just out, but again, he doesn't need that too soon, and I love this scouting from KawaiiRice. Coming around here, checking for any proxy pylons, any shenanigans, if you will, and you know, it could be quite dangerous if there's a pylon and then some sort of DT warp in with hallucinations.
Right. Well, both players are being so active. I really like that about him. If you look, even NaNiWa has that middle Zelnaga tower, doing a fantastic job, just kind of making sure that there's no stream of Marauder Marine coming out of there. And from there, he can actually post himself at the natural spot as well and kind of see, okay, has he expanded or not? And look at what his army's doing. It's reflecting that way. It's kind of situating some units at the natural, some at the main, and just doing such a fantastic job of really saying, okay, I'm not really sure what he's doing, but I want to be kind of prepared for everything.
Yeah, he has to be a little uneasy. You can see that going into the NaNiWa camera. Nope, that's not the NaNiWa. There it is. It says no expansion. So this should be the little thing that says, oh, I should be a little bit worried, and a bunker on top.
That screams tech as far as I'm concerned.
So still, there's a lot of variations. Now we can see on the map, Medevac goes out. Looks like he's going to be coming into the left-hand side. And NaNiWa doesn't have vision of this area, so it could be quite dangerous. And oh, look at this. He's moving out with all of his units conjoining up. It does look like at the same time, KawaiiRice is pushing out with a group of Marines Marauders. Now, this, I think, is just a diversion for just giving his Hellions room to attack in the front. Almost Lord of the Rings-esque. I always go back to that. Lord of the Rings-esque.
I mean, yeah, it is a diversion, but two, it forces the issue on NaNiWa. Like, you can't take several Marauders, Blue Flame Hellions, and some Marines for granted. It's not like a one Zealot army, you know? And the Medevac does drop off those Blue Flame Hellions, and they will be present in just a moment. There they are. NaNiWa's got to spring to action. Oh, I think that's a bit of a misfire on the Geyser.
Oh, no.
But look at those probes lined up. A couple go down, and look at the shot. Oh, 4 more do go down.
That is a big hit.
But nice reaction. NaNiWa's actually in the proper place, and meanwhile at the front, that gets thwarted. The Blue Flame Hellion is in the back, getting some extra kills. One more shot. Okay, just one dies there, actually. And another.
3 kills? Oh, 5 kills. Nice hit. So we can look at the units lost right now. 15 workers lost for his opponent. So he's looking really, really nice.
Yeah, and that's a big economic hit. The earlier that happens, the more trouble you're in. You know, obviously, if you have only the 30 harvesters, you lose 15. That's a big hit.
Yeah, and keeping this medevac is another key thing. When you have a medevac, you still threaten Hellion harass.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely. I mean, that's a really important point, and that's one of the things that Terran players have at their disposal. Is that if that medevac stays alive, the threat of a drop occurs throughout the entirety of the game. So NaNiWa's pinned for now. He's got to get like cannons up or spread out his stalkers or something.
Yes, we can see a lot of production facilities coming up from KawaiiRice. I love this. 4 barracks are up. Now, he needs to compensate a little bit. He got the economic, I don't want to say advantage. We can see in the income tab 35 to 36, but there are the mules. I think he did enough damage, just enough damage. It's a little skimpy, actually. NaNiWa might have come out on top because he still has the girth of his units. He didn't lose any like stalkers or sentries or anything like that, whereas KawaiiRice lost most of his Marauders and Marines and then all of his Hellions. So
I think it was 4 Hellions in total. Yeah, and that's the exchange. So it was basically the time, I mean, the chunk of army that KawaiiRice threw at him was lost in exchange for about 14 or 15 harvesters. And on paper, you want to say, okay, well, obviously KawaiiRice is favored there, especially since the game is still going, because that economic hit just puts him so far back. But actually, as you look at this, due to Chrono Boost, I feel, and just the nice management by NaNiWa, he's done a great job of getting right back into it. I feel like he was barely slowed down.
And on top of that, I like NaNiWa's play, and he's just patient. He doesn't have to push out. He knows it's like, okay, well, you're not going to be threatening me. I have my observer over your base, but still, I know you're not going to be threatening for quite a long time, just because you lost so many units in that beginning stage. So let me get my army up, and right before I'm about to push up, I think so, he's going to throw down some photon cannons, which I love. I think that's great play.
Yep, and it's precisely because what you brought up earlier, too. Because of that medevac being out on the map, you just have to know that is always possible, and it just takes a couple Hellions to shut down an entire economy. So NaNiWa does not want to be victim of being pinned all game long, and is going to go ahead and play accordingly with those photon cannons. I mean, it's not like one photon cannon will hold off a whole drop, but what it does do is buy time, and it also softens the blow. Like, if the Hellions die just that much faster, then they can't kill as many probes.
Yeah, and we can see a probe coming down here. I'm not sure. He might be looking to expand yet again. Taking this third, so taking the economic lead rather than trying to get a lot of units. But I mean, NaNiWa is a little bit behind. We can see supplies 100 to 102 and actually supply capped. He looks to be pushing out. 2 Colossus are out. Do we see a Viking count? 2 Vikings. So it's okay for KawaiiRice.
Not if he comes to attack.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to force the force fields.
Yes, that's the biggest problem, and we can see 2 sentries in this army.
Yeah.
Not a ton, but they have max energy, so that's plentiful force fields.
Yeah. And here we go. He's chasing it back a little bit.
Couple pot shots.
Some damage. He's got to be careful. He does not want to turn and fight here.
Oh, sentry's getting in. Sentry might get in. 3.
Force field. That's just an expensive mistake. That was like 5 Marauders.
Blows up. We can see the little parts scattered across the entire base, and now Hellion push comes in here, able to kill a couple of these workers. Oh, I thought it was going to be much bigger, but look at the spread. Those probes, it's just like NaNiWa, exceptional play. And now 4 Vikings are out. We can see 2 Colossus. Is there a third? I thought there was a third, but maybe not.
It's almost done.
Yeah, it's almost done there.
I like that scan we just saw from KawaiiRice, actually, because that observer that very annoyingly is now here. Like, you jerk, you're supposed to be there for the scan.
Yeah.
But basically, KawaiiRice is probably like, okay, why are you always where I'm trying to go?
Yeah.
Most of the time, that's the observer, and he got hip to it, but unfortunately, scanned a whiff, and then the observer came back, unbeknownst to KawaiiRice, unfortunately.
We can see a command center lifting off and moving to the top left, and meanwhile the bottom right is being taken with a Nexus. I like the photon cannon there just to ward off any sort of Hellion play. Now we can see NaNiWa is going in to scout this top left, and he might have to react to it. He does see it. Sees what's going on. Both these players might be meeting up momentarily. We do see 1 or 4 Colossus out for NaNiWa, and they're coming in here. Oh, I don't like this position. He needs to back up.
Wow. Look at him focus on those Vikings.
Oh, wow. Really nice play.
Yeah, I mean, those are the danger for him. The bio is manageable as long as his Colossus are not being touched.
He cannot be engaging. No.
Oh, my gosh. He's only got the 1
Oh, he cannot be engaging here. I don't know why he stims in. Big stim. Colossus are on the high ground. Just move over.
No KawaiiRice. Bad KawaiiRice.
And KawaiiRice is not looking good.
No.
Just targeting down the Vikings immediately.
Excellent army control from NaNiWa. I mean, look at that. His whole army's almost intact.
GG.
That was just fantastic play. Fantastic play by NaNiWa. Great army control. And I feel like one of the things you can do when you watch him play is notice how his crisis management, okay? The 2-prong attack. Hellions in my base, poke at the front.
Yep.
He had the perfect number of units to respond to both places. His force fielding was immaculate. He threw down 1 force field, but it pinned a Hellion up against a wall. And he did lose 15 probes, which would seem like a lot, but if we checked the income tab because we expected to say, KawaiiRice is so ahead. They were dead even.
No.
I don't know where they came from, but he had probes the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, what it comes down to is just the solid play of NaNiWa. He was able to, as you said before, nothing stands out. It's just all around solid. He has the ability to do everything, and he does the fundamentals correct. Picking off those Vikings was such a huge hit. So many times Protoss don't pick off the Viking, and it's like, okay,
They just A-move.
let my Colossus die. It's cool. But NaNiWa just showing I have a strong grasp on fundamentals. He used them, and it looked like a smattering.
He outclassed KawaiiRice. Now, that is just game 1. We will go into game number 2, and KawaiiRice has got to recover. He is capable. We saw amazing play from him last week against Liquid Hey Pro.
Yes.
But today, and right now, he is facing an absolute monster in Dignitas NaNiWa. How will KawaiiRice recover? We'll have to wait and see. Join us for that next game in just 1 moment. Game number 2 is being counted down as Dignitas NaNiWa versus Fnatic MSI KawaiiRice. Game number 2 in this best of 3, week number 2, division number 3. KawaiiRice sitting at 1-0 in the group did face smash Liquid Hey Pro, and he will be facing off, is facing off rather, with Dignitas NaNiWa, and I'm not quite sure how to even go into the score of NaNiWa. It was changed a few times. I know he wasn't able to make the first match, so whether or not he is 0-2 or 0-0, I'm not going to...
He's 0.
Okay,
I think
cool.
he's 0 points.
You're going to take the risk?
Yeah, I'm taking the risk.
All right.
0 points.
If Greetorp's wrong, he is so stupid, you guys can attack him. Totally
I'm
fine.
not wrong, though.
I highly recommend threads on Reddit. That's where if you have opinions about Greetorp, that's where they should go.
That's where they should go.
Yeah.
Excessively, please. I just like to be scattered. I don't care if it's famous or infamous. I just like my name out there.
It's good.
Yeah.
PR is good PR, from what I understand.
Exactly.
Now, Dignitas NaNiWa in the pink trunks representing Team Dignitas. An amazing team, by the way. Do please check them out. Based out of the UK, they do feature such players as Select, NaNiWa, Show, and they have some up-and-comers like Killer from Chile.
Chile.
And then they also have, what's his name, Bishu?
Yes, Bishu.
Bishu, the coin flip victim. Look to DreamHack for
Poor
more
guy.
information on why that happened. And that's not me poking fun at DreamHack, by the way. I'm literally, he's hosting a show match, or he's not hosting, he's featured in a show match tournament where, because of a coin flip rule, he was edged out a little bit. So, I had to clear the line there. I want people to know I'm not making fun of DreamHack. It's an amazing tournament. I want to go someday. Back to the game. Pink Protoss, bottom right corner. Lower left corner, we do have Fnatic MSI, KawaiiRice, the yellow Terran. Now, a couple of interesting notes. The expansion for KawaiiRice is facing in the direction of, or heading in the direction of, the pink Protoss. And it's not like a far and away weird prediction to say that NaNiWa is going to go Colossus. So those are siege units. That's a bit of an interesting point there. If you don't have the ability to thwart off those Colossus with either Vikings or tanks, you could be in some trouble.
But there is a siege tank timing that you can do for the Terran player, and it does look like KawaiiRice wants to do a fast expansion, no gas on either of the Vespians. So he's looking to a 50, or excuse me, either a 17 command center or a 19 command center. I'm not sure completely.
16, buddy.
He's doing my 17. 17.
16.
Oh, he didn't get it.
Just to prove you
He didn't get it. He didn't get another Marine. Don't make me look silly, bruh.
He did it.
Well, yeah, now he did. Oh no, he still didn't get it. Alright, whatever. Still, very fast command center. And getting that, you can actually not get your third supply depot with that, so you actually have a slight rebate on your money.
And you were saying you liked that. You were saying,
I love it. Well, this is my build. This is my build, baby.
Well.
This is my
You
build.
and Tasteless.
Well,
This is actually also the Tasteless build, just so you know.
But I use this every day.
Yeah, but it's Tasteless.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
It is before the second
every
depot
build.
does finish. There's the second depot completing itself. Double gas being taken from KawaiiRice. Now, Greetorp as our resident professional Terran, but also a teammate of KawaiiRice. What does the double gas signify? Typically, that's not bio, right?
No, you are probably going to change into a factory tech. You do a double barracks factory, similar to what we saw Show do. That's a very efficient way. And you prepare for that siege tank timing, the Marine siege tank timing, and it becomes extremely effective once you go later on. It looks like KawaiiRice was gearing up to put something down, but isn't going to just yet. But as soon as you get the factory and the Marines, you can do a timing push with like 2-3 siege tanks. It comes at a really awkward time for the Protoss. And once you do that, you can transition into bio, because siege tanks they have a diminishing return, I think, as the tech goes higher for Protoss.
Now, an expansion will go down for NaNiWa here momentarily. There is actually an SCV right behind that middle line. I really like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic information from KawaiiRice. He instantly knows, okay, there's not some kind of zany one-base timing going on here. This is indeed an expansion. In fact, from here you can safely assume it's the two-gateway expansion. Now, KawaiiRice is, or not KawaiiRice, excuse me, NaNiWa is going to be opting for that pressure we talked about. And I think that's a good choice because it's actually kind of a reach from the ramp to the expansion. So KawaiiRice will be tested here a little bit, and he's teching heavily, so he doesn't have as many units as he probably wants. It is just his bunker. I gotta say, this is a bit of a tense
He might run by. He might run by. Yes, he.
Oh yeah, he's gonna
run by. Oh, this is really bad for KawaiiRice. He has to pull all of his Marines. Oh, force field. And that's not looking good.
Tanks will come off of this factory, and tanks are gonna be super strong against this very stalker-heavy composition. He does have Marines and SCVs at the base. And this force field, okay, that's the last force field, though, that you can't cast anymore. KawaiiRice can hold here, but it's dangerous. This is a tough moment.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of mining time and a lot of SCVs at the same time. The siege tank about 75% of the way done. And these Marines are getting shelled out a little bit of damage. We do see now all the SCVs get pulled off a line, but that is a lot of income to be incurring. Finally, the siege tank is out. And it's going to be shelling damage onto... Oh, no, the Stalkers might be able to take it out.
Oh, he's pushing forward. He tried to get out of the fight. They're like, no, what are you doing? Get back
and the
over there.
Stalkers might live. Oh, no, they leave. They're just going to walk out and say, later, dude.
No, he's going to try to pick off some more, I guess.
No.
Look at how efficient NaNiWa... Now, a lot of people would look at this and say, okay, well, the reinforcements will kill KawaiiRice. No, NaNiWa the entire time was teching up. He has the robo down. The robotics bay is now going down.
Oh my gosh, this is so bad.
He was producing lots and lots of harvesters. He's actually up 34 to 23. Now, the fortunate thing for KawaiiRice is he is going tank, so he will be safe, I believe, for a period of time once he kind of locks in these bases. But at the same time, I'm worried because he was, I think he was going for a timing. He doesn't have that timing anymore.
No, he's completely lost it. He's also behind in both tech and in units. So right now, NaNiWa has complete control of this game with just four Stalkers, 1 Zealot, and a Sentry. He's able to take massive control in this game.
Yeah, poor KawaiiRice too. I mean, the one bunker is in the most sensible place, right? Like, you want to defend that natural, you also want to defend the ramp, but nobody ever thinks that a Protoss is going to run up the ramp. What the heck? That's something Zergs do. And lo and behold, he did. Now, he did take a big risk. If there's anything at the top of that ramp, he gets sandwiched pretty bad.
Yep. I mean, KawaiiRice could have put a couple of supply depots at this top as well. You can see NaNiWa just keeps trying to poke out, get as much information as possible. But yes, he does need to be careful. If there is slowed Marauders, concussive Michelle Marauders, he could be in a lot of trouble. But KawaiiRice is just sticking with this Marine tank.
He does not have a lot of units, Screetorp. I mean, he is on 4 gateways. He does have his first Colossus coming out. They will be out before any kind of timing. There is an Immortal over at home as well as a few sentries, but KawaiiRice is not in immediate danger for the time being. If you look at the Harvester count, NaNiWa is actually doing a fantastic job maintaining the lead. Constant probes are coming off. Terrans typically have a tough time continuously producing SCVs, I feel, but KawaiiRice is doing the best he can. I think they're kind of going probe for SCV, but it's those mules that are allowing him to kind of actually mine more than the Protoss player.
Yes, I agree. And we do have Banshees coming out as we speak. Cloak is not being researched, so I'm not sure if they're going to be too effective. A Raven also wants to pop out, but it is supply capped. Now, this Banshee, it does make NaNiWa play a little bit more defense, but look at this. NaNiWa already ready. With cannons in both his main and his natural in the supply line.
That's playing ahead.
Yeah.
What are some of the ways he can lose from here? Will it be like a drop or Banshee harass? Why not take the preemptive position of going ahead and throwing down those cannons? Now, the Banshee did come in at the most inconvenient time. His army is moved out there. The cannon's not warped in. A couple of Stalkers are going to enter the field here. The Banshee does get 3 kills before she heads home. Totally fine. Just going to go have the paint redone on that Banshee, and then she'll be right back.
But NaNiWa, his Colossus count is getting pretty scary now, too. And now, it doesn't sound like that's too much, but for the relativity of KawaiiRice's army, it's pretty large. It just mows through any form of Marine count. And we can see also KawaiiRice, he put this tech lab here, and it traps his siege tank, so a little unfortunate for him. NaNiWa going up and expanding to the top right-hand corner, and it looks like he will also, at the same time, wants to engage on this position.
Yeah, the tanks should go ahead and have a word about that. I do like this expansion timing for NaNiWa. It does, however, open up a small window for KawaiiRice. Now, he is opting for the pure Marine. If he's able to keep the Colossus fire
he has no siege tank. He has no siege mode.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, this is terrible.
It's halfway done. Oh, my gosh.
It's not looking good. Oh, and the Marines get a huge shot.
He's going for it. He knows there's no siege here. He knows it. They would have been sieged by now, and that's it.
Force field goes down, segmenting all of the Marines, and now the SCVs get off the line.
Oh my god, they're
but
corralled.
oh gosh, they just get barbecued immediately, and now we can see the SCVs are as well dying. Banshee's getting into the fight, but we can see 21 workers killed in that entire engagement. Income temp shows 60 Harvesters to 38, and with 4 Colossus out in the field and only 2 siege tanks and 2 Banshees, I don't know how he can defend against any of this army coming out from NaNiWa.
That was a huge mistake. He had to have forgotten it. I mean, there's no way that he says, well, because he's floating like 600 mils far gas this whole time. There's no reason not to have it. Huge mistake. NaNiWa playing super safe, totally happy, frying all the Marines and most of the tanks, backing away only to return. Now, there is that siege mode, but NaNiWa can just go ahead and use their range on these Colossus to try to get as many kills as he wants. The shields of a Protoss player do regenerate, so taking a little bit of damage like this, not a big deal at all. In fact, it can almost be considered no deal whatsoever.
Yeah, it's negligible. But yeah, KawaiiRice is in terrible position. He doesn't have any form of siege mode or any way to deal with these Colossus too efficiently. And the worst part about that is it frees up if he ever wants to switch to Colossus. It's very important not to overmake your Colossus. You don't want to make too many, because then your gateway army isn't going to defend against Colossus. They become very barren. So if he wants to switch to Immortal Tech, which is, mighty fine, or Mass Zealots, it's there, and we can see Blink, and actually Zealot Charge is already upgraded, but Blink is being upgraded as well.
Yeah.
So NaNiWa's development in his units are looking pretty strong, and we can see again an expansion. So 4th base up for NaNiWa, well, coming up for NaNiWa is KawaiiRice. He just has a glimmer of hope of trying to get an expansion, but I don't think he's going to have any ability to push out safely.
Well, here's where Backwater Gulch really starts to bite you in the butt. We do have this ramp leading into the natural that's open. If KawaiiRice does want to take his 3rd, that's like a completely separate defensive position that you need to take. It's not defended by the same place on some of these maps like Terminus. So KawaiiRice either has to commit to a timing and then expand behind it, or he has to have a reactive defensive force, and that's really hard for Terran, going in and out of siege mode like that and moving your Marines, because if they take extra fire, they die so fast.
Yeah, and we can see KawaiiRice is looking to take this position right in the middle. Although NaNiWa's moving into position, he has to siege. Oh no, he's not sieged! And now a huge stim, but the siege tanks are way too late. Now they finally siege, but not one of them is going to stay alive before they all go down. GG coming out from KawaiiRice, and NaNiWa is going to take that series 2-0.
Dominating form. Normally this is the time when we'd say, KawaiiRice played really good. No. He could have, perhaps. No. NaNiWa punched him in the head, KawaiiRice faltered, and then he tore his head off. That was it.
Yeah.
There was no, exchange of blows, or... It was just... never a chance.
Yeah. That game, too, was just... It was almost like they were completely different levels. NaNiWa just...
At least in this best of three,
outclassing him.
They were.
In that second game. And the first game, too, I thought NaNiWa just held the entire game, even though KawaiiRice had that good aggression. It started the same, and then as it got towards that mid-game stage, the middle of mid-game, it just NaNiWa felt like a completely outclassed player.
Every time their armies kind of came to exchange, the right choices were continuously being made by NaNiWa, and the wrong choices, to a certain extent, I feel like they were forced on KawaiiRice a few times, were being made by KawaiiRice. And at that stage, at this level of StarCraft 2, you can't make those mistakes and hope to win. And I mean, KawaiiRice did that to HeyPro last week, where HeyPro looked outclassed. He looked like he didn't belong. And here KawaiiRice is experiencing that at the hand of NaNiWa. Now, NaNiWa, we did just talk about how he's won MLG in convincing fashion. He's actually also still qualified for the Team Liquid Star League, where he is in dominating form there as well. If you span these 3 major tournaments and look at NaNiWa as a player, you have to say he is one of the best.
Yes, and it has to be his solidarity with 100%. See what I did there?
Good job, blood brother.
We're going to go straight into a NaNiWa interview, actually. So let's go ahead and get into that, and then we'll talk about the game some more.
Of course. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this matchup, but honestly, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's like watching a full-grown man beat up a random child. Did you feel as comfortable as you looked in both these games, or was there ever a point in time where you thought you might have been able to kind of lose it?
I was a bit surprised in game 1 when the Hellions came. I wasn't really sure what he was going to do with his composition. I saw that there was no expansion with my probe, so I was kind of confused. And it really caught me off guard, but I managed to stay okay since I had my expansion for so much longer than he did.
Well, you actually managed to defend it perfectly and make me look silly, because in the midst of you not knowing what was coming, you actually positioned your units in both your bases, and I was like, oh, he's so good, he has no idea it's coming, but he's in position to block it. And then as I get done saying that, you moved out of position. But it's cool, man, because you reacted fast enough and held it off very, very well. Now, obviously you took down this match 2-0. Tell me a little bit about your future in the NASL. Who are you looking to? Who do you think is a challenge to you in this group? And is there anyone you in particular want to beat on? Is there any kind of grudge in this group?
No, there's really no grudge for me, at least, in this group. But I think it was one of the easier groups. No offense, of course. But compare this to the one that Saki has with Hydra and so on, I think mine is quite easy. I would be disappointed if I didn't pass top 2, at least.
Okay, so top 2 is your aim. You're not going to do any call-outs, like I'm taking number 1, anything like that?
No, as long as I qualify, I'm happy.
Okay, very good, buddy. Now, one of the obvious questions to ask you is, you just got done taking down MLG. I know you've actually called out MLG Columbus. You are attending that still, correct?
Correct.
And you're in the North American Star League, which is a weekly schedule. You're still qualified for the Team Liquid Star League, which is a hugely prestigious tournament. How the hell do you train for all these tournaments?
Basically, I never train like one specific strategy. I train a lot of strategies, and then I try to use them in the correct position of the maps and so on. So I try to just be open-minded and, learn to play as many strategies as I can.
Well, let me ask you this, because I feel like this is a huge opportunity. I think you are performing the best out of all the foreigner Protosses. I mean, the only argument someone could make would be perhaps White Raw, but I feel like there's a strong argument for you are actually outperforming even he. What do you, like, as a Protoss player, to our other Protoss players that are listening, what do you recommend for training? How do you split up your time? Do you spend any time on the ladder? Is it all custom games? Do you watch streams? How much emphasis do you put on content on your opponents and stuff?
I think it's very important to get ideas from other Protoss players. I especially like to watch MC play, and those kind of guys in the GSL. I just try to see other players play, and then I try ways to improve it. Yeah. That's basically how I come up with my
And you
stuff.
do ladder, right?
No, I don't play any ladder games.
Oh, okay. So you're just custom games then with your team or friends around you and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I only play with my team, basically, because the ladder doesn't have the right maps, so it's hard to play on the ladder.
That is one of the problems there. Well, NaNiWa, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. You get a lot of you get some crap from the community because a lot of people think, they can't really get past your old crimes. But I'll tell you what, I've been watching you. You're doing fantastic. You speak your mind in interviews, and you know what? You're an upstanding individual, and congrats. Is there any shout-outs you have for fans, sponsors, or anybody else?
No, I guess not. Only thank my fans. That'll be it.
All right, buddy. Well, short and to the point. Thanks a lot for coming on, and we look forward to seeing you next week. You watch MC. I actually watch you, so thank you very much for your inspiring play, buddy.
Thanks.
Good luck.
All right, see ya.